So my name is Olivia Elliott, and I am going to McMaster right now. I'm in the pre-law program and headed to law school in the coming years. A lot of what I have done with this specific class is tried to fit it to the context of what our students are going through right now. So the number one thing that I've noticed, having taught not in the pandemic when kids are going to school and in class versus during the pandemic, is there's a difference between needing support and needing extra. So I wanted to frame this syllabus, grade 5 and 6 language syllabus, very similar to the English language curriculum that students in Ontario would be subjected to. So this one takes aspects from both the grade 5 and 6 curriculums and kind of takes you through what that would look like, and it adds as more support rather than extra work for students to do. So before the pandemic, you could go to class and you could learn from your teacher, and you could ask questions and you could engage with people. But how we are right now is it's a little bit different. School, you might not be going to school, you might be doing school online, you might only have an hour or so of school. So what my classes really try to do is allow that collaboration and that meaningful connection that a lot of us are really missing right now. And do that while learning and using the supports that I can give you and the materials that we have as a learning center to make sure that you're not only doing well or getting by, but you're excelling. And most importantly to me, that you're really enjoying your learning. So I'll take you through the syllabus a little bit, and there is a PowerPoint that we can also go through. And we'll see if anyone is interested in that, or if anyone arrives to the class. I understand we're all really busy. So like I said, this is English reading and writing grade 5 and 6. My name is Miss Olivia Elliott. If you're going to ask me a question, Miss Olivia is good for me. So days and times, classes are offered via Zoom right now because of the pandemic that we are in, obviously, but I really am looking forward to when the time comes we can all get back into the classroom. I don't think that'll be during the semester, sadly, but I hope that if you take the class in the following semesters, we'll be able to get back into the classroom together. So right now, we do require that you have some type of internet connection, and then the meeting ID and password will be given once you sign up for the class. So there's no specific class textbook. I'm just requiring you to bring a novel. And we would get more into that on the first day of classes. What I usually like to do is everyone picks their own novel, and then there's a series of questions that can go for take home. And you can choose from one of the 5 questions, one of the 10 questions that you're given that week, and just do a little bit of a write-up. And then you bring that information that you've collected back to class, and we can talk about it and discuss it and have that more collaborative nature. That also means, unless I specify that I would like things in full sentence form and in paragraphs like that, you can just do jot points to answer your question, because that's looking at your oral communication when we get back into discussions, which is kind of fun. I know people like to do that. So for required course materials, what I'm really hoping that you have is some type of email to navigate the use of a Google Doc. Google Docs are great. They're my personal favorite. We're on a Google Doc right now with my shared screen. It allows us all to look at a document. It allows you to be able to share it with your peers in the class. And it allows me to be able to see when you're doing the work. It allows me to see how you're doing it, if you're copy and pasting, because that's not okay. So everything like that. A novel of your choice, a working camera for class presentations. If we are doing a presentation, I do ask that your camera be on. That is a part of oral communication. If you take my public speaking course, I like your camera to be on the whole time. So it's just something noteworthy. And then working audio, I need to be able to hear you to speak, to discuss, of course, and that can be a microphone or a speaker or headphones, whatever. Internet connection, of course, and then just your basic school supplies. So what I'm really going to ask is that you have pencils and paper and pencil crayons, rulers, things like that. I want you to be able to take the notes that you take in this class and put them into the work that you're doing at school so that you're given a bit of an opportunity to take this extra knowledge that you're learning, the support, and really apply it in times when maybe you don't get as much attention from a teacher as you need. And then prerequisites, I'm just asking that you've either completed the junior reading and writing either with me, I think I taught it a few years ago, or one of my coworkers here at Summit Life, or you be in grade 5 or 6, or you have permission of the instructor. So I'll get everyone's names before grades and things like that. Usually there isn't a problem. We can do a little bit of a trial. Maybe you need to bump up or bump down. That's all. So a little bit of a description. This course provides the tools for reading and writing in grade 5 and 6, aligning itself with the language curriculum, as I said, put forth by the Ministry of Education, and I update that as they update it. And it offers additional support for the language arts. And what I mean by that is we don't just do reading and writing. We do reading and writing, oral communication, media literacy, mechanics, usage, grammar, all of it, because that's what the curriculum is. And we do jump through it a little bit. It is quite quick, but that's why I suggest you do the full year course instead of just the half of the year. And that also comes back to those major themes: oral communication, reading with meaning and fluency, are you understanding what you're talking about, developing and organizing your writing skills. I want you to be better writers by the end of this class. And then also having a further understanding of media literacy. And it's okay if you don't know what that means just yet. We'll definitely get into it in time. So we do have some learning outcomes. Right now, and obviously we can discuss our learning outcomes individually, but right now I want you to be developing grade appropriate oral communication skills. If you want to go above and beyond with your oral communication, I would suggest you take my public speaking course if that's more what you're into. But if you just want to develop grade appropriate, you want to get your A's and your B's and things like that, this is the course for oral communication in that regard. Improve your reading and writing comprehension and fluency, like I said. Cultivate writing skills, skill development, form, voice, reflection, all of those different aspects, and then to create and identify different media texts. We have the whole course schedule and timelines here as well. As I will consistently tell you, as your instructor, I reserve the right to change as I go. So what I mean by that is this is a guideline. Of course, if I'm saying that there's a test or a presentation or an exam that day, there's going to be, but maybe we need a little bit more on oral communication and a little bit less on reading with comprehension. And then we'll do another week of oral communication. And we'll pop down to media literacy or something like that. This is the main idea. We're hoping to cover all of these items, but if you guys are really into one of them and you're really working hard, or maybe you need a little bit more clarification in school, of course, I'll give the time for those as well. Which also gives us a little bit of a moment to go over behavioral expectations. Look, I'm looking for professional responsibility, integrity, and accountability, and we'll go over these in our first class. Professional responsibility, integrity, and accountability, essentially what I'm asking is that treat it as if you care about what you're doing. You're responsible for your actions. You're responsible for getting your work done. You care about what you're doing, and you're accountable about that. We'll do a lot of references to politics and Canadian social context and things like that. Responsible government. I want you to be responsible for yourself, and also help your neighbors do their job. Make sure that you're able to do the best you can, and by doing that, you'll improve what your friends are doing as well, which is really nice. Respectful and professional relationships and communication. This is a grade 5-6 class, so I'm not too worried about it. Younger classes, sometimes we get really excited that we're on Zoom and maybe we use emojis, or maybe we use different silly words in the chat box. Obviously, I'm all for having fun, but if someone's presenting, if I'm giving part of lecture content or something like that, I really would prefer if you were able to really hone in on your listening skills and do a lot of active listening in my classes. That's what I really like, active listening. Okay, procedures, looking at when things are submitted and things aren't. In the event you're going to be late, please let me know. You have my email. It's up at the top of the syllabus within 12 hours of the class start time. It is not helpful to me when I get a message that you're going to be late 30 seconds before, right? Because it's not, I don't know. Usually I'll wait about 5 minutes where we'll do a little bit of class discussion so you're not missing any learning material. But if you're not showing up within those 5 minutes, I do need an indicator about 12 hours before class time. In the event a student will be missing class, please indicate this to me. Again, within 12 hours of class time, the class is going to be recorded and sent to you, and you can request that. Hi, Miss Olivia, may I please have the recorded class? Or hi, Miss Cindy, may I please have the recorded class? The other thing that I'm quickly going to address is assessment and evaluation. So I do give out report cards and I do give out scores and things like that. Don't take them too seriously, because if you're learning, and I can tell that you're learning and you're doing the best that you can and you're getting the concepts, you're going to do very well. Nobody really does poorly in my classes because you're engaged and you're listening, and that's excellent. So participation is actually 30%. And what does participation look like? It means you're doing your homework. It means you're actively engaging in class discussions. It means you're doing your reading questions, you're asking your friends questions, you're doing your behavior is in line with professional responsibility, integrity, and accountability. You're looking for self-improvement. If you want a comparison, it looks like your, how would I explain participation? Your feedback reports, the very first report card you get in school, that's what this is really looking at, your learning skills, your initiative, your responsibility, all of that. And that's 30% of your marks. So that's a huge amount, and it's really easy to do well, I promise, with that. Oral communication assignment is 10%. Okay, reading and writing assignment is 15. We do weekly spelling tests, which is fun. We have a media literacy assignment, which I know you guys will really like, and then a final evaluation with 25%. And that final evaluation, we can talk about what we want it to look like. I have ideas for the other assignments, but if you have a really cool idea about something, maybe you're really into, I had one class we wrote newspaper articles, and that was really neat based on the book. So lots of options for us there. And just one statement: the instructor in Summit Life Learning reserve the right to modify elements of this course during the term. As I have said, the Learning Center may change the dates and deadlines for any or all courses in extreme circumstances. It is the responsibility of the student to check his or her email and course folders weekly during the term to note any changes. Okay, so that's what I mean by access to that email that you can message me. Other than that, that's pretty much it. And what we usually start, if you're asking what would a general class look like, essentially we start with some mechanics, usage, and grammar, which is sentence corrections, and then we might go into a little bit of a discussion on our novels, and then from there I would have an activity specifically looking at grammar or looking at spelling, something like that. We'd run a spelling test as well, and one of my favorite things to do is to do read alouds. So read alouds are fantastic. I'll put a book up on my screen and we'll all read it together. So it's a really beneficial course. So you might be asking, why should I take it? Or why should I sign up my child? Well, we are in a time right now where students aren't getting the support that they need. And I know that because I am a student and I know, and I went to school and I know what it's like to be in grade 5. And it's really scary not to be able to go to class and not to be having the supports right there and right in front of you. So this is giving your students, your children, an opportunity to ask those questions and to learn a little bit more. And when they don't have have the confidence to ask a question, maybe in their class at school, they can ask it here and we can make that clarification. It's going to help you get better grades. It's going to help you present yourself a little bit better. And more importantly, I'm really hoping that it builds confidence in the students and that they're able to leave the class as inspired learners and people who are actively looking to learn things. So If anyone has any questions, please let me know. My email is oliviaelliott2000@gmail.com. I'm so happy to answer any questions. I really look forward to either seeing you again in my classes or seeing you for the first time. So thank you so much. Be safe. As I always say, wash your hands and wear your mask. And I'll hopefully see you guys in class. Bye-bye.